Welcome, folks. This is part 3 of my series, and here we will be discussing following points: how a trader will prepare his books of accounts, trading and profit and loss account, balance sheet, when the audit is required, and ITR forms which are applicable upon him or her, how the turnover will be calculated, because calculation of turnover is little bit different in case of stock market transactions, and other few points. Before moving further, let's have a quick recap of earlier two parts. In part 1, we have discussed a person doing stock market transactions, either he will be considered as trader or he will be considered as investor, and taxation rules will be applicable upon him or her accordingly. Taxation rules. In second part, we talked about taxation rules as applicable on investor. He will incur either short term capital gain or long term capital gain or loss, and trader, he will incur either speculative and non speculative loss, and how these things will be dealt in income tax returns. This third part is totally related with traders. Investor has nothing to do with these things. Let's begin the topic. Similar to other business, a trader is also required to keep books of accounts as per double entry system prescribed under Income Tax Act. He has to maintain cash book, bank book, journal, ledger, trial balance, and so many things. Nowadays almost everyone is using some accounting software just like Tally or Busy, which makes books maintenance very easy. These books will be based upon your bank statement, your demat transaction statement, other income which you have. So each and every monetary transaction which you are doing in the course of business, that will be considered in your books of accounts. This is the overlay of trading and profit and loss account. On the income side, we disclose turnover from intraday transactions, F&O, other shares and debentures which you have sold in this particular year. If you have other income other than a stock market like salary, interest, commission, then all the income will come into income side. After this, if there is a sale of your stock or any instrument like a capital asset, and you have incurred capital gain or capital loss, then that gain or loss will become into this side. And if you have any rental income or any kind of income, so all the income will be clubbed here on the income side. Let's go to expenditure side. Purchase value of shares, debentures, or any other purchases which you have sold in this year, that will come to expenditure side. Other expenditures, like if you have hired any person for assisting you in the business, so the salary of that person, if you have taken any premise and you are doing business from there, so rent of that premise, brokerage charges, taxes, and other trade related expenses, advisory, consultancy, depreciation of computer, etc. So all the expenditures will be here. We will calculate net profit, total of all the income minus all the expenditure. It will give you net profit. So this net profit will be taxable under Income Tax Act. Method of calculating turnover is little bit different for intraday, F&O, and other shares, which I have discussed after some time. This is the overlay of balance sheet. On the asset side, we disclose all the asset we have, just like computer, laptop, furniture, fixtures, air condition, your house property. If you own any car or any motor vehicle, then also we disclose it in the balance sheet. After the fixed assets, we disclose investment in stock market or any other kind of investment like FDs or any insurance policies. So all the values come here. After that, cash in hand, bank balance, if you have given your money to someone else as a loan or advance to many authorities, so all the asset comes under the asset head. And on the liability side, the capital the total amount of capital which you have invested in your business. Suppose someone starts business with 10 lakh rupees, so that 10 lakh will be his capital. After that, if you have any loan liability like home loan, car loan, personal loan, or any other kind of loan, that liability will come here. After that, if there are any outstanding expenditures in business, like if you pay salary of your staff on the 5th of next month and you are making the balance sheet on 31st of March, so that 1 month salary which you will pay after the completion of year by 5th of April next year, and the total of asset side will always be equal to total of liability side, then only we will say okay, balance sheet is tallied now. After balance sheet, now it's a turn of income tax return and audit. Audit under Income Tax Act is applicable only when your total turnover exceeds the prescribed limit, and prescribed limit is based upon turnover. So before jumping into ITR and audit part, we need to check how the turnover is calculated in stock market transactions. Turnover is nothing but sales value. Turnover of non-delivery based intraday transactions. Total of the gain and loss of all the intraday transactions is your intraday turnover. Let's understand it with an example. Suppose you have buy any stock for 100 rupees and sold it for 105, the profit is 5 rupees, and the another stock you buy for 100, sold for 95, there is a loss of 5 rupees. So your turnover will be 10 rupees, sum of gain and loss. This is for intraday transactions. Now let's check how the turnover of derivative transactions will be computed. Just like intraday transactions, turnover of derivative is also calculated. Sum of total gain and total loss is a turnover of derivative transactions also. Suppose you buy for 10,000 rupees and sold it for 9900 rupees, so there is a loss of 100 rupees. And you buy for 20,000 and sold for 21,000, so there is a profit of 1,000 rupees, and this sale there was a premium of rupees 500. So the turnover of F&O transaction will be 1600 rupees. Your loss plus your gain plus the premium amount whatever you have received is the turnover amount. How the turnover of delivery based transactions other than F&O will be considered? Total value of sales is considered as your turnover. Just like any other business, the sales amount is your turnover here. Suppose you have bought 100 ICICI shares for rupees 500 and you have sold them for 520 rupees. The sales value of this lot is 52,000 rupees. So this 52,000 is your turnover. This value you will show in your profit and loss account on the income side, and on the expenditure side the purchase value which would be 500 multiplied by 150,000 rupees. That 50,000 will come under the expenditure side. I hope the calculation of turnover is clear to you. If you have any confusion, just text me. I will try to resolve your query. After this, there are two ways to calculate the turnover. There are thousands and lakhs of transactions in a book of a trader, and it is not possible to calculate a gain or loss of each and every transaction manually. So there are two ways to calculate the turnover. One is script wise and second is trade wise. In script wise, we take average of buy and sell of all the transactions done through a particular contract and then determine the turnover using the above mentioned rules. And in trade wise manner, the second is trade wise. Here we calculate total of all the purchases and sales and calculate the turnover based upon the above three mentioned rules. Till now, the computation of turnover is clear. now when you are able to calculate your turnover, so let's talk about audit. This chart will give you clear understanding of when audit is required and when there is no need for the audit. If the taxpayers cash receipt are limited to 5% of the gross receipt or turnover, and if the taxpayers cash payment are limited to 5% of the aggregate payments, then up to 5 crore rupees, there is no need for the audit. So this is the first case when audit is required. And if you are a person whose books of accounts have cash receipt and cash payments too, and these are not limited up to 5% of the total receipts and payments, that time, and your turnover is more than 2 crore rupees, that time you are required to get the audit done. So we have covered the 2 points of this chart. Let's take the third point. If your turnover is up to 2 crore rupees, then there could be two cases. First is total income, not only income from stock market transaction, but total income like salary, interest income, rental income. So whatever income is there less than 2,50,000 rupees and you have no tax liability, so in that case no audit is required. But do file your income tax return so that you could carry forward that losses to the next year. Your turnover is up to 2 crore rupees and your total income is more than 2,50,000 rupees. There could be two cases. First is your net profit, total income minus expenditure, the profit which is left, that is called net profit. Your net profit is more than 6% or 8% and you file your ITR under section 44AD presumptive taxation scheme, so that time no audit is required. On the other hand, if your net profit is less than 6% or 8% of the turnover, so that time you are required to get the audit done. We file ITR based upon the audit. So if audit is applicable upon your business, then get the audit done, and after that file your ITR. There are 7 income tax return form, but for an individual doing stock market transactions, there are 3 forms: ITR 2, 3 and 4. ITR 2 is for the people who are investor, who hold stock market investment just for the investment purpose, and there is a capital gain or loss, so they use ITR 2. ITR 3, if you are a trader and not opted for presumptive taxation scheme, so use ITR 3 to file your income tax return. Along with business income, you can also disclose your salary, house, property, capital gain, other sources of income in this ITR forms. In all the ITR forms, you can disclose these basic things. And ITR 4 is for the people who opt to file ITR under presumptive taxation scheme under section 44AD. So these are the requirements of ITR. Here are few important points. This year Income Tax Department has launched a new portal for ITR compliance, which is www.incometax.gov.in. so this will be used for ITR filing purpose. There is a tax liability in your hand and which exceeds 10,000 rupees, then you are required to pay advance tax on quarterly basis. Generally, due date to file ITR is 31st July of the next year, and if you have audit case, then due date is 30th September. Because of pandemic, this time government has extended the due dates. We have covered all the points, and this is the end of this series, how the stock market transaction will be disclosed in income tax returns. Feel free to ask for any query, doubt or clarification. I will try to resolve your query. I hope it would be helpful to you. Little knowledge of income tax will help you to save some tax via some tax planning, and it will also ensure there is no non-compliance of law from your side. Thank you so much guys. Stay tuned, stay safe. Thank you.